Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. And man, today I got a friend from a few years back. We used to attend the same church together. We're in our current networking group together on Monday mornings. And while we're in the same field, we're in a little bit different a field. So I'm really interested to have you sit down here today with Mr. Rob Keesling with BCV Commercial Real Estate. Welcome to the show, my friend.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You have a great story, and both of us had to present in front of our colleagues at our networking thing. But for those of you that don't know Rob, tell everybody a little bit about yourself before the business stuff.
Well, how far back do you want me to go?
Well, you're a young guy. What is that, right. 30 years?
Yeah, good Lord. Yeah. Well, I'm a native of Louisville, Kentucky, but grew up here. You know, I consider this area my home. My family moved to the Baltimore area in 1968 when I was entering the second grade.
Wow.
So, a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's so bad. My formative years were here. Grew up in Joppatown.
Okay.
Graduated from Joppatown High School.
There we go. Go Mariners.
Yeah. And then, as I shared with the group a few weeks back, growing up in Joppatown, I wonderful memories. A small town is one of those environments where everybody knew everybody.
Yeah.
And I could get to any one of my friends' house within 5 minutes in a car, within 10 minutes on a bike, within 20 minutes on my feet.
Yeah.
Never having to go through a traffic light, never having to get off a two-lane road.
Yep.
Neighborhood street. And still have wonderful memories of my time there, and still have friends that I went to high school with that I am in touch with and connected with still to this day. But
and you guys just celebrated a 50th high school reunion, 40th?
Well,
50th?
it was the 50th anniversary of the very first graduating class from Joppatown High, which was 1975.
Okay.
And my sister was actually in that class.
Okay.
And what we decided to do was have a reunion fest weekend that honored the 6 classes that were in the building in 1975. Because when Joppatown opened, it was a junior, senior high school.
Oh.
So you had 7th, 8th, 9th through 12.
Yeah.
So you had the class of 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, and 80.
Maybe 80.
We were the 6 classes, and that was fabulous.
We were very cool.
I got roped into being part of the planning committee, and we actually started. I mean, it was about a year and a half, 2-year process, and we had well over 300 graduates.
Wow.
And they're
within that span of 6 years.
Yeah, that came, and it was a whole weekend of events. So that was fabulous. But I said it was wonderful memories from there. But kind of like, and I know I said this in my presentation, kind of like George Bailey, from the movie It's a Wonderful Life. I wanted to shake the dust off that town and go out and see the world. So I ended up in upstate New York for college.
Okay.
Went to Cornell University, which was a wonderful experience. And how I ended up there is still, well, not a mystery, but it wasn't on my radar.
Yeah.
Coming out. And I remember I had a high school football coach was asking me about, my decision-making process, where I wanted to go. And he told me, he said, well, 2 things you want to consider first of all. One, where do you want to go to school geographically? Do you want to stay close to home? Do you want to go to the West Coast? Whatever, make that decision. And then secondly, do you want to go to the big school? You want to go to small school? So when I thought about it from that angle, I was thinking, you want to stay, I think, in the mid-Atlantic, kind of more to the south, Virginia, North Carolina, maybe a smaller school. Mm-hmm. And how I ended up in Ithaca, New York, but it was, and not to, pat myself on the back, but get a phone call one night from Coach Dan Bunton, one of the assistant football coaches at Cornell.
Yeah.
Wanted to talk to me about playing and going to school there. Had me up for a recruiting weekend, and my parents were with me, and sold. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
I got to be here.
Yeah.
This is where I need to be.
Yeah.
I only played ball for 1 year, but that was one of the best experiences of my life.
Wow.
Going away to college and football being a fall sport. Day one, you're involved in a group activity.
Yeah.
I mean, the first day I arrived on campus, moved into the dorm, went out, got a bite to eat with my parents, and at 7 o'clock, first team meeting.
Right.
Right out of the gate.
They kept you busy there too.
Busy, and there are guys I played ball with that I met that very first night that are still dear friends of mine today.
Wow.
In fact, one of them was a buddy of mine from New York, was just here a couple weekends ago.
Mm-hmm.
We were down for a visit.
Oh, wow.
And that just made the whole adjustment process a lot easier.
Yeah,
so
sure.
had a wonderful experience there. And again, I talked about wanting to go south first. Two of the most important things I learned, and I've said this a million times. Number one, how to stay warm and dry.
Uh-huh.
And number two, never, ever, ever live north of the Mason-Dixon line again unless it is a matter of life and death.
Wow.
So
why such a bold statement?
I do not like the cold weather.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah, well, at least in Maryland, you never know what you're going to get. You can have like 4 seasons in a week.
Well, and there you had two. You had June and you had July and winter.
And July and winter, jeez.
So I'm exaggerating, but you get the point.
No, definitely.
It was, as I said, Cornell had never been on my radar until I got that phone call.
So from New York, did you move back here, or did you go south?
Yeah, I ended up in East Tennessee. My first professional employment out of college. Spent a year and a half in the printing industry.
Okay.
In East Tennessee, and then found my way back to the Baltimore area in 1985-ish.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Kind of bounced around from a career perspective, doing a couple of different things, but 1990 was when I landed in the telecom business.
Yeah.
I went to work for AT&T and spent the next 29 years in the telecom business, 24 with AT&T. I did take a break. The 24 with AT&T was over 2 tours of duty. Was there for 14 years, left with the Verizon, was there for 5 years.
Okay.
And then came back to AT&T when the mobility business really started to boom, and I didn't have an opportunity at the Verizon shop to continue my career in that space at that time, and so I came back to AT&T.
Okay.
And I was always corporate sales.
Yeah.
And I got my start in this area. Was the first house I ever bought was in White Marsh. I had a townhouse in White Marsh in 1987 down by the mall. And got married. First child was born in 1990, and an opportunity came to move to Bel Air. And it wasn't something that was on the radar, but my parents were here. They had left Joppatown, spent a year in Pittsburgh, and came back to Harford County and bought a home in Bel Air. My dad's business merged with a competing firm.
Okay.
They opted to put the headquarters in San Antonio, Texas. Asked my dad if he'd go down and be part of the transition and integration of those two companies.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, and he'd give him 2 years. Decided mom and dad weren't sure whether they were going to buy or rent down there. So they decided not to sell the house in Bel Air, and Dad says to me, you want to move into the house? Sure.
Wow.
Just basically took over paying his mortgage.
Yeah.
That was 1990.
Wow.
Been in Bel Air ever since.
So,
and that's when I started my AT&T career, and was in the small business market. So my territory was Harford and Cecil County, and got very involved in the chamber back then. And just in general, involved in the community, and I just kind of progressed up the ranks in terms of started out with small business and then started dealing with larger customers.
Okay.
Purdue Farms down on the Eastern Shore was a client of mine for a number of years. McCormick Spice.
Yeah.
Those folks out in Hunt Valley.
Right.
So always corporate sales.
Yeah.
So fast forward to 2019, there were some changes going on that weren't exactly to my liking and to my benefit, and I kind of saw the writing was on the wall that I wasn't going to have a seat at the table with a reorganization that was.
Was there a lot of layoffs at that time?
Layoffs were starting to happen, and I was at a point where I could formally retire. I mean, I could be a formal AT&T retiree, so I retired in 2019, at the age of 58.
And then BCB comes along.
Well, exactly. I wasn't going to just sit around and, watch Seinfeld reruns and eat bonbons all day. I wanted to do
Would have been a much bigger rub sitting in front of me.
Got that right. And the broker, the licensed broker at BCB, a gentleman named Bill Van den Enden.
Oh yeah,
personal friend of mine. His youngest daughter went to, you I'm not sure we
I
remember
coached her. She was in my ninth grade PE class.
There you go. Absolutely. And Patrick, my son, was a classmate, and we were involved in some different activities together. I've got to talking, about my retirement. What are you going to do? So, I'm not really sure. And so you've thought about getting your real estate license and coming on board. You've got obviously background in sales. You've got background in business-to-business sales.
Mm-hmm.
So,
why not?
Why not?
And then COVID happened.
Yes. And in fact, I was in the middle of my real estate class.
Okay.
When that happened.
Wow.
There was a number of there are different ways you could approach getting your real estate license. I had one associate in our office who did the coursework online.
Okay.
I chose to do it in person with a local firm here in the area. It was a 10-week program, and we started like the end of February 2020. So March hits, and what do we do?
Yeah.
And I give this gentleman, and I won't mention names and where he was, I give him a lot of credit because his first thought was, what do we do? We can't meet. We're shut down.
Yeah.
And I kind of raised my hand and said, well, do you think about maybe we can do it, like video conference on Zoom? He didn't know what I was talking about.
Now he does, though.
But that's what I said. To his credit, we took about a 2-week hiatus. He got a crash course in how to do it.
Yep.
And next thing you know, we're doing it. We finished like our last couple of weeks of the course on Zoom. And then after we were done, all the testing centers were still closed. And this gentleman was kind enough, like for the next month, we still would get together. He would share with us practice exams.
Yeah.
We'd have a call like on a Tuesday, and he'd give us a new practice exam. We'd have a call on Thursday. We'd go over the one we had on Tuesday, give us another one. I mean, we probably went through a dozen or more.
So you were more than prepared. When that testing center opened, you were like, nailed it.
Boom, done. So yeah, and that's
Is that the same test as residential real estate agents take? Yeah. So you take this test, you have to memorize a lot of stuff, and then you have your license. You got to hang it with a brokerage, and now you really have to learn the business. Like they don't teach you that in the real estate.
And one of the things that I enjoy about working with Bill and the rest of the crew at BCV, I'll use the term community to kind of describe our culture and the way we approach things, because we're a small shop. And we got 2 principals, Bill and a gentleman named Nick Cortalis. And we have an office manager, and there's only like 8 or 10 of us associates. Most of us are all from the area. Bill has a background prior to getting into real estate in banking. We have another associate who has a strong background in banking, and similar to me, came to VCV as a second career. We have a gentleman actually with the original founder of the company, who still works with us, has a legal background. So we're more of a team effort.
Resources are in the same office.
All our resources.
You might not know the answer, but you can go to Bill or whoever.
Exactly. I mean, in fact, I'll be meeting with Bill this afternoon on a issue we've got, with a potential sale coming down the pike. So we work together. If I'm out of town and we get a property, need to show a property, hey, Bill, Ron, hey, you step in and go do it, or vice versa. And all these folks are, as I said, Bill's a 1974, I think, graduate of Bel Air High School. Very involved. We have several folks who are, if not now, in the past, board of directors with the Chamber of Commerce, Route 40 Business Association. Very tied into the community, and we don't have a huge advertising budget. We're not spending a ton of money in that regard. Our business referrals, relationships that we've built in the community over time is how we do our business.
Wow. But would you say that organizations like the Chamber and the Route 40 Small Business Association or Route 40 corridor has been your general source for referrals? It's a big part of it.
Absolutely. No question about it. Yeah. Well, I bet you I got to talk to Bill about a situation today. Came from the Chamber.
Gotcha.
Somebody I know through the Chamber.
Yeah. It is all about relationships. And this is such a close-knit, tight community where everybody, it's like 5 or 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon up in Harford County. Everybody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows you.
Yeah.
You know?
It's funny you mentioned that. Going back to Joppatown, it was 3 degrees of separation.
3. It's a nice community, though. Yeah. Wow. When you're working with people on the commercial side, and I don't know too much about the commercial side, what's maybe the most frequently asked question that people have about with who you're working with, and what's that answer to the question that they ask?
That's a good question, and the answer is going to vary. And let me go back and say something that differentiates commercial from residential, and that'll kind of maybe get to that to an answer to your question.
Yeah.
In my view, one of the primary things that separates commercial real estate with residential is what drives it. Commercial real estate is driven by financial decision. Residential housing. My family's growing. I've grown my 1,500 square foot townhouse. I need more space.
Right.
I'm being transferred. I need to live somewhere else. Commercial is driven by financial business decisions. If I buy this property, can I make money? I've got a business, I'm growing, I need to expand so I can drive more revenue. In an investment property, we work with a number of people who are looking for investment properties like multifamily apartments. Am I going to generate the income? So the question you pose, what are they asking about?
Yeah.
Is this a good financial?
Is this a good investment?
Is this a good investment? Is this a good financial decision for me?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I mean, certainly when people make a decision residential wise, it's like, yes, they want to make sure that they're not overpaying for the house, or sometimes it is for investment. Like, hey, we're going to live here a few years and we're going to turn it into a rental. But a lot of decisions are made out of emotion, out of the family situation. We need a yard for the dog. Like we make decisions for the dog.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So we mentioned COVID. When in the residential side of things, I thought when COVID happened, oh crap, this is shut down.
Yeah.
This is going to be nuts. It's going to be dead.
Yeah.
And could not be any further from the truth. The interest rates were super low. Yeah. We were still able to get out there and show homes with some, with some regulations and rules that we needed to follow and stuff like that. How did COVID affect the commercial side?
I guess the biggest impact was office space. Vacancy rates, especially in big cities, are still very high, or higher than they were because of remote working.
Yeah.
AT&T, give an example. I mean, I worked my last assignment there. I was based out of an office building down by the airport. I don't know how big it was. It could house about 250 people. There was nobody there.
Yeah.
So this companies deciding to downsize office space. So there's still a lot of vacancy.
There's still a lot of vacancy.
There's still vacant office space, and a lot of you're seeing repurposed into. Use an example. We had a very large office building downtown that. It's under contract now. Knock on wood. That'll sell.
Yeah.
Lost a very large tenant. Happened to be the state of Maryland because state of Maryland consolidated a lot of their departments into office space that they already owned, like up on the Preston Street complex. We've had a number of people look at that, and it ended up. These aren't the folks that are the buyers, but some of the folks that were looking at it were looking to repurpose it into an apartment building.
Okay. And is that just the vision of the buyer coming, or is that like you guys are now having to change the message or the flexibility of what the space could provide because it's not going to be used for office space?
That's a good question, and yeah, we kind of have to pivot on our side, that somebody who was looking for that. Oh, well, maybe this space, which you would think of as a traditional, just office, maybe it can be repurposed if this is somebody that has, capital to invest in, what it would take to convert into. But it's more, I think, just the market in general, driving that.
Do you feel like even though there's still vacancy, that there are more businesses coming back to the office, or have they just kind of moved away from that?
No, I think you're seeing that, and certainly service-based industries, for sure, coming back. Healthcare, that's the potential buyer that this one facility is in the healthcare space, and that's a growth area, continues to be a growth area.
Yeah. I mean, I know just in our office alone, where it used to be, a lot of hustle and bustle in here, there's a lot of times people just work from home now.
Sure,
They've learned how to adjust and adapt to working from home. And I,
again, getting on the rewind machine here, going back to my AT&T career when I started, I mentioned my territory was Harford County in Bel Air. This was 1990. I was designated, we called it virtual office. I had a second phone line put into my home. They gave me a fax machine.
What's that?
And I didn't go to the office very often, maybe once a week.
Oh, wow.
So this was not a foreign concept. When it hit. Of course, I had officially retired when COVID hit, but that whole work from home thing, that was old news to me.
Right. Piece of cake.
I found myself more productive. I thought I was more productive working from home. Maybe you took an hour out to go cut the grass, when the weather was nice.
Right.
But for every hour I did that, 9 o'clock at night, I'm sitting there, banging out a proposal or doing a price analysis for a client.
Right.
And you go to the office, hanging out by the water cooler. Ooh, let's go out.
Somebody knocks on your door.
Yeah.
And there's that time where you stop and listen, and there's that time of starting back up the task that you were doing. You're probably losing even more time.
Yeah. And I think what a number of industries have seen is that working from home doesn't necessarily impact productivity in a negative way. So back to the whole commercial aspect. Yeah, there's, especially like in the big cities and in the big old office complex, there's vacancy. But you see in the smaller areas, in an area like Bel Air, you still have your attorneys and your accountants and your insurance agents and your doctors that need an office.
Need
space.
Yeah.
Need space.
Yeah.
They may not need 10,000 square feet, may only need 5. Just throwing some numbers out there, but there's still areas, sectors of business that require office.
Sure. On the commercial side of things, what's the biggest struggle that you're currently facing? Or even just a current struggle that you personally have as it relates to work?
That's a really good question. I think the biggest struggle biggest challenge that I face is, and not that this isn't true in residential, but every situation's different.
Yeah.
I hearken back to, we had a listing down in Baltimore County in a area of Perry Hall, and it was zoned community business, which means you could put like a law office, a insurance office. You couldn't put a gas station.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we got an unsolicited offer on the property from a fast food service type business.
Okay.
And I'll just leave it at that.
Sure.
But then we started, well, wait a minute. Food service, they're going to have the health department, drive-through. Can they accommodate a drive-through?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Just stuff that came into play that I would never think about. It didn't necessarily pop into my head. Maybe shame on me, if I was more experienced, maybe I would have thought about those kind of things. And again, coming back to having the small shop and I can go to my team.
Sure.
But I think that's what I would say. Just everything's different.
Yeah.
Different industries, and we deal with everything from an empty lot that somebody might call us and want to park trucks on,
Okay.
to a 40,000 square foot office building, a restaurant, you name it. It's such a broad scope. And when you get into zoning laws,
Well, that's what I was going to ask is like how challenging is it to work with Department of Zoning to get zoning changes for businesses?
I can't really speak to that because I haven't myself gone down that path. But I'll give you another example, and again, trying to be vague so as not to reveal.
Sure.
But we had a property lately that we were kind of down the path to getting it sold when it was discovered, and kind of just discovered by chance in the Department of Environment. They were just doing their job, but discovered something on this property, let's leave it at an environmental issue. It was about 8 months worth of cleanup.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, who saw that come?
Right.
We didn't see that coming.
Sure.
The current owner of the property
Yeah.
didn't even see that coming because it was way in the back of the property.
Okay. Wow.
So that's, to me, I think, what the challenge, but also makes it, to me, rewarding because
Sure.
it is different. You're dealing with people from all walks of life. Maybe they're a food service business, a restaurant or a bar, and next day you're talking to, somebody who's trying to sell their accounting business.
Yeah.
Or the restaurant, whatever. It's just such a different animal every day.
Yeah. Different dynamics.
Absolutely.
Human behavior can
Absolutely.
certainly be.
Absolutely.
On the residential side, it's that emotion and the motivations behind, how motivated is somebody to, you can't hold a gun to somebody and make them do it.
No.
You can only give them what their options are,
Sure,
and try to advise them to the best of your ability. But sometimes
that's consistent with our industry as well.
Yeah. Well, being in business and being successful, I feel, is driven by habits. There are success habits that you need to do to perform at your most optimal. Being a commercial real estate agent, residential, doing the best that you can. What are some of the habits that you do to personally that translate into a successful business?
Well, I start every day with a good breakfast.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that, to me, that I make a habit of is being responsive.
Yeah.
Somebody calls me, leaves a message, you can pretty well then be sure I'm going to be back at you within 24 hours, 48 at the max.
Yeah.
Be responsive. And even if it's, or I'll give you an example, or maybe I owe somebody a follow-up.
Okay.
Hey, I don't have, promise to get back to you by the end of the week. Don't have the answer for you yet. I thought I would. I'll get back to you next week.
But I'm working on it.
I'm working on it. Just communicating and being responsive consistently. Another habit, and I kind of learned this at AT&T, keep on top of your email. Because we live in a world where electronic communication is so prevalent. And I know you get bombarded, but keep on top of it.
Yeah.
My father, one of his words of wisdom that he always used to tell me, it's a hell of a lot easier to keep up than it is to catch up.
There, you clip that one right there.
and maybe this sounds, kind of sophomoric or what, but I pride myself on that. Now I'm not necessarily bombarded, with email, but still keep up with it.
Yeah. That is something that I certainly struggle with. Do you have any strategies that
you just do?
You're just doing it on a daily basis.
You just do it.
Deleting the spam.
Set aside. I'll typically. I'm not an early morning person. But for example, I was at my office at 9:00 this morning, and I spent that first half hour just boom, boom, boom,
going through emails.
Just file that over there, flag that for follow up.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Be responsive. And again, I know that's minutia, the email, but you never know what you're going to miss.
It's a beast, and
Yeah.
and then you get emailed so inundated with spam and everything else, and all of a sudden, if you haven't addressed this email that was at the top of your inbox one day, the next day it's like on page 2 of your Gmail. You know.
Yeah. And again, this is maybe not everybody's hot button. I go back to my AT&T career. First day on the job, October 15th, 1990. I was at an office building down in Oakton, Virginia, in a training class, sitting around a big table, maybe a little bit bigger than this. First thing they did, here's a box, open it up, it's your personal laptop computer, and taught us how to exchange email.
Yeah.
Which, again,
1990. That's new.
I was blown away.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting there, hey, Tim, what's up? Tim gets it. Hey, Rob. Holy crap. I can do this, and I can send a note to somebody who's on the other side of the world.
Yeah, right.
So it has always been a part of my professional life, electronic communication. Mm-hmm. So that's just, it's become a habit for me.
Do you get notified every time you get an email?
Yeah.
Do you really?
My phone's been buzzing in my back pocket ever since we've been sitting.
Gosh, see, I can't do that. Like, I turn off the notification for the email, but in this business, it's so hard to. But so I have to check it more frequently.
Yeah.
What the ultimate dream would be, okay, I answer emails between this 11 and 12 and between 5 and 6.
Well, whatever works for you, but I think you just hit on you get disciplined to doing that.
Right.
Set aside that time.
Because right now I think I have like 16,000 emails in my inbox. Is that you probably don't have that many?
No. Again, this is my second career.
Yeah.
But still, it's something that I always made a point. And again, I go back to what my dad said: easier to keep up than it is to catch up. Sounds silly, but it's worked for me.
Yeah, I got to catch up.
Yeah.
So personal life, business life, you're 65. 65.
Yes. I'm on Medicare.
There you go. I'm 15 years younger than you, and certainly you've had grandchildren now and all that. And you've probably been driven a lot throughout the years to try to accomplish something bigger, whether it be through your job or whatever, or even personally or spiritually or whatever. Yeah. Is there anything that you currently have on your mind that you want to accomplish? Like, what's the next accomplishment for Rob Keesling?
Again, a very good question. I think the next accomplishment is to reach that point where I'm just not working at all.
Yeah.
Traveling and doing volunteer work, which I do a lot of as it is, but to the point where that's more my focus.
That brings you the most joy?
Yeah.
If I could give you a plane ticket to anywhere in the world and you could leave tomorrow, where would you go?
Australia.
There it is. Wow, that's your next spot.
I've been fortunate the last couple of years. I've made a couple trips to Europe, so I've kind of checked. There's some more Europe boxes I want to check.
But never been to Australia?
Never been to Australia.
Yeah, me neither.
And have some friends of ours that were just there about a month ago. And that's been a bucket list item for me. So, yeah.
Okay. I like to ask locals this, especially people that have been in Harford County as long as you have. Yeah. A favorite place to go out to eat in Bel Air? Or let's change that. Let's just say Harford County.
Well, it depends. I'll give you two answers to that.
That's fine.
And are we going to get like advertising dollars for?
We should, right? If anybody wants to advertise on our podcast, we'll drop your name in the.
Well, I will tell you this. My answer is somewhat driven by where I live now, a townie.
Okay.
I became a townie. I actually live in the town within the town limits 3 years ago. If I want like really nice kind of out for the birthday, out for Mother's Day, it's 111 Main.
There you go.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous. If it's comfort food, just need to go get a quick meal.
Sean Boland's.
Love bullets.
Is that where you're going if you want to just get a beer too?
Well, if I want to just get a beer, I'm going to
Independent.
It's 0.3 of a mile from my house.
Oh, sweet.
It's an 8-minute walk.
That could get me in trouble if I live there, man. For those of you that are listening on the podcast, Rob just patted his stomach.
Beer belly.
His beer belly.
Yeah, and my significant other, Kim, she works in town. She works in town in Bel Air and walks to and from work. And at least one night a week, sometimes more, she'll let me know. She'll let me know when she's leaving. Meet you at the pub.
It's a Boland's night or it's an independent night.
Yeah. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
But I will say this: there are a lot of other great places that we enjoy.
Absolutely, it's hard to narrow things down like that too. We're a society that does.
Yeah, and I tell you, we've been fortunate. I said I've lived here a long time, and being a townie, this is a great town. I mean, there is just so many great shops and places to go eat, and yeah,
it's a great community,
wonderful community.
Great small business community.
Yeah. And well, that's going back to what I said before about kind of characterizing our office. We're about community and the relationships that we have, with the legal community and the financial community that integrate, with what we do. We have a client. Who can you recommend for us to get financing? There's so many options.
Yep.
And folks that we have relationships with. Hey, I don't have an attorney. Well, here, go talk to this person.
Right.
And we get referrals from them as well. So yeah, it's a great place.
As a team member of BCV, looking at your leadership, what advice would you give me as a team leader to best lead my team that you see from your leadership at BCV?
You ask really good questions, Tim.
And I didn't even prepare that one. That was
no, and I would be careful on that, because if Bill or Nick happen to see this, I'm going to use a term I used a moment ago. Be responsive. If one of your team members calls you for help, respond.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, again, that may sound very simplified, but growing up and being involved in athletics, playing football for as long as I did, and even though 1 year in the Ivy League ain't like playing at Notre Dame, the basics. In football, it's blocking and tackling.
Yep.
In business, just the basic things can help set the stage for so much more. And so, I think as a team leader, being available and available to offer your assistance, whether that be with reviewing a contract or how to approach a difficult negotiation, whatever it may be. And then sometimes that may be, hey, you need me to get on the call with you? Right. You need me to go on the appointment with you? Be glad to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really important. And my guys know that they can, if they call them, if I'm not available, I'm calling them as ASAP. Yeah. So, yeah. It's kind of a weird question. I was going to start with, do you read? But that sounds like I'm saying you're illiterate or something. No. Is there a book other than the Bible? Yes. That has made an impact on you, whether professionally or personally?
I don't know that I can say that there is. Off the top of my head, I can't. You were going to start to say, do I read? Yeah, I do, but not a lot. Okay. And I will say I've gotten into audible books. Listening to them. Yeah. And Kim, and I hope she won't get mad that I'm bringing her name up in this.
Hi, Kim. All good things so far.
She belongs to a book club. Okay. And we've gotten in the habit. We own a home in Ocean Pines. And we go down at least every other weekend. We're probably down there more so in the summer. And it's about a 3-hour drive. We'll listen to a book on the way and then listen to it on the way back. We just finished a book called The Correspondent.
The Correspondent, okay.
Which I enjoyed it. But back to your question, I'm digressing here. Off the top of my head, I can't think of a particular...
Well, The Correspondent certainly resonated, and certainly that's a different way of reading, right? I mean, it's People that are on the go a lot. It's actually funny because a lot of people that I've interviewed over these past 120 some episodes, I'll ask this question, and the far majority don't make the time to read because they're so driven and so active and doing things, but they do say, I'll listen to audible books or podcasts or stuff like that.
One book just popped into my head, and I don't know why, but I remember reading this many years ago. Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits
of Highly Effective People.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you familiar?
It's a Bible of just personal development.
Yeah. That's one that just popped into my head.
I might have to read that book again.
Yeah.
I think you're like the second guest that has said that in the past couple
good.
weeks.
I mean, I read it years ago.
Yeah.
So it's probably something I should read again. But it's interesting. I said I was never a big reader. I mean, I didn't read, but in being with Kim, because she belonged to this book club, so I've a lot of interesting books lately that I've heard.
Maybe you got to join Kim's book club.
Well, it's funny. She's asked me, so you listen to the book? Do you want to sit in on the conversation when it's at our house? No, that's okay. I'll just go get the pizza.
I'm going out to Independent.
Or that. I'll just go get the pizza and they take care of it there. But.
Oh, man. Great conversation today. I really appreciate you coming in.
Sure.
BCV, commercial real estate, not even with Cummings and Company. And I was like, man, you're bringing another agent from another brokerage in here? But you know what? There's just so much to learn from so many people, and I've certainly been fond of your friendship over the past couple of years too.
Well, thank you, Tim, and I would echo those statements. And I'll touch on something that kind of relates to what you were just saying. There are obviously other commercial real estate firms in the area, and we look at them. They may be competitors, but they're not our enemies.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the last emails I got before I left the office this morning today is I have a client interested in a property in the area. It's listed with a competitor. They're the listing agent. And we've been, hey, let me know. Be glad to show it to you. The collaboration across the aisle can be a good thing.
It's a co-op.
Absolutely.
It's a cooperation.
Absolutely. So obviously residential, commercial has differences, but sometimes there's some overlap.
Absolutely. And your reputation is everything in this business too. You certainly don't want to be a knucklehead in this business,
No, agreed.
Yeah. So.
Or in any business, but certainly ours, because you are, in our role, we're front line.
Yeah. And it's such a small community that
we'll get around.
You make enough poor decisions, it's going to catch up to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Get around.
If people want to reach out to you, they want some real estate services, they got questions about commercial real estate, where can people connect with you?
Go to our website. We're on the World Wide Webernet.
Spoken like a true 90s.
Yeah. I mentioned before, we don't have a huge advertising budget.
Right.
Find me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I have a presence on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I do have a Facebook presence, but I avoid it. I avoid Facebook like the plague.
Wish I could too, but I'm all over it.
Yeah. It's just.
That's where people are, though. That's where people are.
But LinkedIn.
But LinkedIn is more for you, commercial.
It's more for business.
Yeah.
And so you'll find me there.
Yeah.
And again, we have a web presence. So.
All right.
That's the best way to find us.
Well, follow Rob on LinkedIn, because he's not going to respond to you on Facebook. Find their website. It's just
bcvcommercial.com.
bcvcommercial.com. Thanks so much for taking the time.
My pleasure.
Please follow us on social media as well. We're on Facebook and Instagram at the Markland Advantage. We're on YouTube as well. And if you're watching this, you can listen to this on Apple or Spotify or anywhere you download a podcast. It's been fun, man.
Yeah, thanks, Tim.
Thank you, brother.
Good to see you.
Folks, until next time, live your life to the fullest, and we'll see you soon. Peace out. Did you like this episode of the TMA Connection? Well, you might want to check this one out right here. Go ahead. Click it.